Now the next forecast you say that when America goes down, which it will, the rest of the world will rise. And the data from that is actually also fascinating. This America down, the rest of the world rises. First of all, America down and the rest of the world up because US stock market values are disproportionately high. I never realized that. It's got 4% of the population and is punching well above its weight. It's got 4% of the population and 60% of the market cap. That is just out of whack. And 25% of GDP, and still, that's the economy, and still 60% of the stock market capitalization.
Yeah, America's always had the most dominant, best performing stock market in the world over a very long term, right? If you look at the last 100 years or so, America has been top of the charts. It really has a true capitalist system that way. But what's happened in the last decade is extraordinary, which is that the American stock market has done so well, has outperformed all of the global stock markets by such a massive amount that we have the situation today where even though America is only 25% of the global economy, and that share has remained stable for a while now, America's share of global stock market values is 60%, and that's never happened before. That number has been
happened before.
Yeah, that number has been closer to 40-45% because America has had the most dominant stock market in the world always. But at 60%, that number is way out of whack, and I think that number is also bound to correct in the next few years.
So Ruchir, the other point that you make, which is fascinating, is that America, it's like a seesaw. When America is down, the rest of the world is up, and vice versa. America goes up and down. After each big decade, America has a downward decade. If it goes upward one decade, it goes downward the next compared to the rest of the world. For example, look at this graphic. America versus the rest of the world. It was going 10.1% higher than the rest of the world, and then next decade, minus 3.3. So it's lower than the rest of the world. Then up 7.6. So what do you make from that now? You're saying it's going to go down?
Yeah. As I said, that if you look at the 100-year history, the American stock market has been the best performing large market in the world by a long shot. But it follows this pattern that after it does very well for one decade, especially in the recent 4-5 decades we have seen, in the subsequent decade, the American stock market tends to underperform the rest of the world because it becomes too expensive, expectations become too high. So after this very extraordinary decade that America has had of great performance, I think that it is set now for underperforming in the coming decade,
the rest of the world.
Also because its size has become disproportionate. So that will allow other countries, including emerging markets such as India, to do much better than America in the coming decade. That's my forecast, and I think in 2023, we're likely to see shades of that play itself out.
And already funds are moving out of America because they think it's reaching a peak compared to the rest of the world, and other stock markets may improve.
Just about. In the last few weeks and months, we're seeing some signs of that. But this is a very long-term process. It takes a while because most people are still anchored to the past. They still look at past returns and feel, oh, why should I go anywhere else when America's done so well? But the point here is that these follow these decadal rhythms, and that we are likely to shift in 2023 onwards towards the rest of the world doing much better than America.